Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of Period Sis, brought to you by none other than the official box owner. I'm your host, Mandy B. Super excited about today's conversation. If you have ever been in a relationship with another woman, I think this definitely would be a conversation for you. And I really hope that you enjoy the dialogue here. I'm joined today with a good friend of mine, Sydney Washington, who is a comedian and podcaster and everything else. When we get to her, I'll let her introduce herself. But as always, this is yet another tale of womanhood for women by women. Enjoy. Okay. Hi, Sid.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Okay, so I don't know if I did your intro well enough. So can you let our listeners know who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the whole grunt of it, you know?
Oh, I think you gave the intro just right. I am a stand-up comedian. When we can be on stages, I will be back to that. I'm a podcaster. I have two podcasts, The Unofficial Expert. You've been on that. And yes. Another one called Hobby Hunter. And I'm a comedic chef. That's another thing on the list.
That one. See, I forgot the chef.
Yeah.
And it's only because, guys, you may not want to eat her food. She's a chef.
Bitch. Wow. In front of me. Okay. All right. Good to know.
No, so guys, the conversation, you guys heard the preface of this episode. Now, when I first met Sid, she was dating the people that we really don't know why we still like them in life, but men. And most recently, I've been able to witness the love she shares for her partner that she shows on her social accounts, and she is now dating a woman. However, she did let me know prior to recording that she does not bump coochies. I guess that's how we think it all happens, right? If we're bumping it with a guy or bumping it with a girl, but not necessarily. But she's super in love. And I know that you, as well as myself, you're in your 30s. And a lot of the conversations here on Period Sis stem around reproduction and kind of the pressures that are set on women by society, other women, our families, our friends. And so that's kind of the conversation I wanted to have with you today, Sydney. So I guess let's start with maybe your journey through sexuality and finding how you knew you liked women and wanted to be with women. When did that start? Was that recent, or is that something that you've always knew? Because I've always liked women, but when did that start for you?
First of all, the first person I kissed was a woman. So, boom.
Oh,
I should have known
mom?
there. No.
Oh.
Girl, I kissed a young lady.
Okay.
But, I'm so glad that happened. She was older than me, but it wasn't like I felt like I was getting taken advantage of. It was just like, hey, I want to learn how to kiss. I want to know how to kiss. I want to know how a kiss feels. So I was definitely like in the, age range, like, 11, 12, and, she's like 3 years older than me, which for me is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, the journey after that is I've just been with men, because that, like, my family is Baptist, Methodist, very religious, a church every Sunday. There's no reason to miss it. Sunday vacation, Bible school. Like, we just did everything around the church. So it was just instilled in me to not only be heterosexual, but, to praise God. So
right.
I didn't go, like, touch back on like women until I think after college. Yeah, after college, I was like, okay, liquor was involved. I think maybe a Percocet. I don't know, but I was back. I was back on women, and it just felt right. I didn't feel like I was being someone else. I didn't feel weird. It just was like, I think this is what I want. But of course, I was still involved with men because that's instilled in your brain.
It is. Right.
It's like, this is what's right. This is what you're supposed to do. If you're with women, that's like a side project. But men, that's your main goal.
Right. And wait, but did you ever feel like you weren't yourself with men? I mean, you just distinctly said you actually felt a lot. You felt like yourself with women. Did you ever feel like you were trying to be something that you were not when you were dating men?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was overthinking everything. I feel like with cis straight men, you can't be emotional, you can't be transparent, you can't, whatever you're thinking on your mind, you have to like find all these ways to say it in a way that's digestible for them. So I was constantly not aware of how many, like, the mental gymnastics that you have to do to be in a straight relationship. The sex part, probably the easiest thing, but it's everything else that you're like, oh bitch, I am stressed 90% of the time. But with women, that's not how I feel at all. It's just, well, like,
let me ask you then. With women, you said, of course, there was some drinks involved. It was fun. When did you begin having relationships though with women? Because of course, the sex part is easy. I think honestly, I actually find it a little trickier to initiate sex with a woman than a man. I mean, because of course we assume men, of course they want our pussies, duh. But women, of course, it does take a little bit more intimacy. It takes them making sure that they're safe, making sure they're comfortable. When did you begin relationships and seeing the difference between men and women in dating?
Okay, so I would say my first girl, like, that I thought I had a relationship, it was all
Not
me.
You thought.
Like,
Not you thought.
I thought I was in a relationship because I was obsessed. Like, she took in the love that I had to give, but I don't know if it was reciprocal. And she had her own stuff going on, but I do know that I was able to, give, and I was making money at the time, so provide. So, a girl is getting hotels in Miami and whatnot, and it felt empowering to be like, okay, yeah, like I could take care of myself and another person. Because it's a weird thing to say in your head, like, if you pay for men, back then I felt less than. I felt like, wait, why? He's supposed to be providing for me. But I know as an older woman, I'm like, no, it could be 50-50. Don't do that.
Oh, can it? I'm still battling that. But
I know.
Well, also that's my issue with women and what you're describing, that power structure that we just know in heterosexual relationships. That's always been my issue. Like, okay, so if we go to the movies, do I pay? Do we go Dutch? Are we like friends? But if we're fucking, who pay? Like, I've never known who pays and who doesn't pay in those dynamics.
Whoever card works, whoever put their card down and it works, that's who pays.
Okay.
I think in a conversation with other people, you're like, yeah, who pays? But every time I've gone on a date with a woman, we both put our card down, and it's like, whoever's like, nah, I got it. You're like, okay, then you got it.
Then you got it.
That's it. I think it's less about, the gender roles that people subscribe on same-sex relationships. I think it's getting played out now. Okay. It's played because it's just like, what I love about being with another woman is just like, you could be whoever you want to be. Like, if you want to say that you're like the femme today, you're the femme. If you want to be more dominant, you can, but we're not stuck on that. I don't have to, like, my ex-girlfriend, she looks, feminine, but she has a lot of masculine energy because she's very in charge. She's very dominant. She has her money in order. That has nothing to do with gender. That's just, the bitch got it together. She works. She just bought a home. Like, she's always been in first position, other than, like, I was not. I was a mess. So when she would pay for things, I was like, oh, this is just somebody who has their things in order and they credit is good, and that's all. I didn't have the money at the time to put my car down. So
girl, that's a whole nother. And for anyone listening, I used to literally think I was getting taken care of because the man used to put me in an Uber, and I'm like, an Uber ain't nothing now. That, like, when someone has money, the things that you look at really mean nothing. Like, putting someone in an Uber and making sure they get home is nothing. I do that with my friends now. So the idea that I was just giving up the coochie for an Uber, I can't Believe it.
I
What
mean,
was I thinking?
was it Uber Black
mean-
Pussy or Uber XL? Was it just a regular X? Like,
Thank God. And guys, if y'all ever deep dive into Sid's like just social media, it was never an Uber pool. Just know that.
God bless. God bless.
So you said it's more so as far as the gender roles with women. It just naturally flows. Whoever picks it up, there it goes. I want to ask you, now that you're an adult, growing up in a religious household, has the conversation been had about your love life and dating history with your family? And if so, what was their response to it?
Well, I grew up with a great aunt and two great uncles, and they passed away many, many years ago. So they would be the only ones that could honestly have put weight on me in terms of my sexuality, because I know that it would be very awkward, and it would have disappointed them. So I cared so much about what they thought. After they passed away, I said, I'm doing what the fuck I want. You know what I mean? Like, me and my mother are somewhat estranged. So, like, I don't really take into consideration how she feels about who I'm dating. She let me know how she feels about homosexuality whenever we get on the phone, and that's why I'm like, yeah, you have a right to feel the way you feel and think the way you think. I'm not here to change you, but I'm also not going to have you put your beliefs on me, because I need to live my life day to day. You know what I mean? So my brother and my sister, they asked like, oh, how's whoever you're dating at the time, and I think they're open. My brother and sister are open to me being whoever I am. They just want to make sure that I'm happy and safe and healthy.
Good. I guess that gets me then into the conversation about family planning with you. What were children ever something that you wanted and what are the options that you've maybe considered now that you are getting into, you rich now, you are a fucking phenomenal, successful comedian. And now you are getting to the age where most women feel the pressure to begin families. So what is that conversation like, and what are the options that you've considered?
I would say that I'm on that teetering, like, back and forth of like, I want kids. I don't want kids. I want kids. The world is on fire. I want kids. Kids are $1 million. Like, I'm thinking every other day, I'm going back and forth with it, because I personally think that besides the finances, you mentally and emotionally need to be more prepared and equipped to have children. And I think more people are scheduling in when they're going to have kids and less not focusing on, but wait, are you mentally prepared? Or have you set aside time to work on your demons? Are you in therapy? Are you healthy? Or like, you cannot give to somebody else if you have not fully give to yourself. So I'm thinking more and more like how my relationship with my mom is, and how other people's relationships with their parents. And it really puts me in another position of like, all right, you want kids, but are you ready to have them? And it has nothing to do with me being a lesbian, even though there's like an extra step. It's like, I want to be able to work on my mental health and know that like, oh, I'm working on my depression, and know that like when kids get in the picture, girl, it's not all about you.
Right. So the fact that you think this strongly without speaking for her, is that a conversation that you have with your other female partners regarding maybe what they want? Because again, with guys, they don't have the option. They don't have the ticking time clock on their bodies. They don't it's so different when you have a male partner than when you're with another woman who could realistically feel completely opposite and feel like, well, I have to do this at a certain time. So what is that conversation like? Is that something that you have early on, or do you wait until the relationship progresses with your woman?
I think for all genders, but mainly, same sex, I think especially when you're past 35, I'm
Right.
36 on the record, you know, what are we doing this? I'm not
Right.
I'm not on these apps. I'm not trying to do this for like, a couple of months. I don't have that type of time. I've done everything. Listen, if I haven't got a train ran on me by now, it's not happening. So
Actually, it still can, ma'am.
no,
It just still can. I'm just saying. I'm still introducing people to sex clubs well into their late 30s, early 40s. So
we'll bless you being the Harriet Tubman of gangbangs. Thank you for walking us across the Underground Railroad of anal. But yeah, that's not me. That's not for me, because I barely want to get up and like work out. So I couldn't imagine having more than one person doing whatever they're doing to me and me not being like, are y'all done? Is it like, well, how long y'all gonna do? I will complain. All I do is complain at this age, and I will be yelping. I'll be yelping everybody who's up inside me. I'm like, 2 stars. 3 stars.
what is wrong with
That?
you?
That's it. That's it. You're not gonna give me a biscuit after this? Like,
Okay,
I'm gonna be upset.
So your mind is just completely like, okay. So it is right now though. At 36, is it not then? What am I doing? What is next? Like, as a woman, is that what's on your mind at 36? Do you feel like you have a ticking clock as well going on? Like, just what does that look like? Yes, you're up and down with wanting a child, but do you also feel the pressure with being 36?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, more and more. If the year that we just hadn't showed you, like, what the hell are you living for? If you haven't got hit with that yet, it's like, I want a legacy. I want something else to to pass on my good properties onto some good properties. Not talking about buildings. I'm talking about the actual properties that are within me. I want to be able to pass that down to another generation. And we're realizing that generational trauma and wealth goes hand in hand. And so
sure does.
I want to make sure that, I have people around me. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to wake up and be 80 and be like, yeah, so I gave my whole life away to my career. What else? So I definitely think that closer I get to 40, it's not that I don't think that I'll be able to physically have kids. It's just like the emotional exhaustion and physical exhaustion that your body goes through after having a baby, which, I mean, the postpartum, if I already have like top tier depression, I don't know what I'm going to do after I have a baby, because women literally go through it after the baby drops.
And I just had the conversation with Esme. She was a guest that you guys either have heard or will hear on here. We discussed birth control. And that's where I had the conversation to where I wanted to feel like I could control myself and hormonally and emotionally and all of these things. And on birth control, I feel like it completely takes a woman out of her element. And the same with having a baby. Unfortunately, you don't know how you're going to respond. And you have to wait until you drop the baby to see like how you feel. And again, your body changes, your face changes. Sometimes things start to spread. You're bleeding nonstop. And now you have someone that essentially comes before you. You have somebody, a whole little human being that you have to raise and look out for. And I think that that's something that you bringing up the last year is traumatizing. Like, this is the world I got to bring someone into? Is this really what I want to bring someone into? I mean, it's just, I guess too, I want to ask, do you feel with a year like we just went through that you feel pressured to speed anything up as far as now that it is legalized for marriage? And a lot of same-sex couples are more accepted in society now. Do you feel the pressure to move in together, to get married, to do all of the traditional things that come with opposite sex relationships?
Well, my last relationship, I met her in in July, and I moved in September. So like, this is
that's
just
fast.
how this is just how we work anyway. Like besides the panorama that we just had, we were moving in. We were thinking about the future way before this. This is our style. Like, I think that, especially with women, like, it's not about rushing. It's just like we are so in tune with our emotions, and we're not in denial of how we feel about someone, that we're okay with taking the next step. There's no, I don't think we have as many commitment phobias than as men
do. Right.
You know?
Ooh, I didn't even think of it that way.
Or it could be a generational. It could be a generation thing. It could just be a generation. Like, my age, yeah, you should be. If you can't be if you're with someone and you can't see yourself waking up with them and living with them, well, why are you letting them come inside you? Why are you letting them, have your time, have your space? I think that's weird at this age.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because our space, our time is valuable. It is 100%. It is currency. It is currency. And I think we don't think about that enough. That, it's not about, I'm losing time. It's like, I'm losing value. When you spend your moments with people that are not, how long are they going to be around?
Girl, just read me. Jesus. Read me. I mean, and it's crazy because I look back, even in, I'm out here calling myself an auntie. I feel like I'm seasoned now. I can give advice, but I look back at the people that I gave so much time and equity into my life in my 20s. And I'm just like, why? Why was I doing that? Why did I give them so much of myself? And like you just said, yes, you essentially lose value. You lose worth. You lose, like, by giving so much to somebody that is undeserving. And again,
it's draining.
It's so draining.
It's draining. And I think it doesn't matter what gender you are.
Right.
When you be around people or date people that don't value you, that takes away from your self-esteem as well.
Yeah.
So not only are you feeling like, in quotation marks, wasting time, but you are also wasting away because nothing is replenishing you to remind you of how outstanding you are. So I think that's why people sometimes rush into relationships and hurry up and get married, because marriage and having a family makes you feel like, now I am important to society. And I don't ever want to get in a situation like that. So yes, there is pressure, but I know that my value for myself is more important than what anybody else thinks about me.
Y'all, I promise you it's not Sunday, but Sid done brought the church to period, sis. And I'm just like, I just want to, hallelujah.
No. I've had so much fun, Mandy. I have so much. Like, my 20s, I fucking lived. Whenever I wanted to do something, I get up, I go, I do whatever. I had sex with whoever I wanted to do. I did all the types of drugs. I live. And so when people are like in their like 35, I just want to have fun. It's like, fun has changed completely.
I'm not gonna lie, bitch. I'll be asleep by 11:30, baby.
Fun is what you make it. Like,
it is,
that's
100%.
That's what I love about being this age. Is like, I'm not under the spell or the guise of like, I need to be in the club. I need to be around all these random people to feel good. I need to be around a certain type of music. No, girl. My club couch, living. I have so much fun here.
Well, yes, because you live in a galaxy and turn on all of these lights in your home, and you've made it your place. I love that. One thing that we normally like to have all of our guests do before we get out of here is leave off with a tip or a moral of the story. And my question to you is, any woman who's listening and finds fulfillment in dating the same sex as them, what bit of advice would you give to them if they're feeling those pressures, or maybe second guessing even being in a same sex relationship because they want the family, because they're still pressed down with societal standards on what we should be doing as women, and that normally is bearing children. So what bit of advice would you have to anyone listening that is questioning even their sexuality in their 30s because of societal standards on women?
Okay, so there's certain parts of this. So the first part is, what feels right. When you feel like the weight is off your chest, that's where you're supposed to be. And no matter what sexuality people think you should be, when you feel safe. You know what I mean? Like when I am in a woman's arms, I feel the most relaxed. I'm not worrying about did I say the right thing? Is it too early? did I do something? Like, we just are more, our communication skills are stronger than I believe. That in all of my 36 years, the best communication I've had.
I'm not debating you. I'm not debating you on that.
I'm just putting that out there. So that's one. That's when you feel safe, and when it feels right, and that outweighs what you think society puts on you. You feeling safe is more important than any fucking person out here looking at you. Any family member, none of that shit matters. I want to be safe, And so, and then 2, the pressures that we have to build a family, to have a home, to have the right job, all of that stuff, it's important, but it's only as important as if you think it is. You can't let what other people's hopes and dreams and ideologies, you can't let them put that on you, because you're going to be stuck with it. Because when you have the family, these people are not reaching out to take care of the child.
Never.
When you're in a postpartum depression slump and you want to fucking jump off a building, all those people who told you to have kids, where are they? They're high. You're going to look high and low. They're nowhere to be found. So know that, yes, you want to appeal and appease the people around you, but at the end of the day, all you have is you and the significant other person that you decided to spend your life with or start a life with. So all of your decisions should be based off of the 2 people that are really going to be in your life long term. So I don't want to make long term decisions based off of situations that are not going to be around
that are temporary.
Yeah. And you can have kids, especially as same sex. It is expensive, but also I've talked to a lot of people who've done, they got not the turkey baster. I'm not going to say that, but they find a guy that they trust or they've been in their life. You don't have to go through, the sperm bank if you don't have to. There is safe ways to retrieve sperm. You get lawyers, and it can be the same way as IVF. Right. So don't think that you have to have $1 billion to get impregnated as a lesbian. That's not true.
Right.
It's just not. Because I know friends who've done it. So there's outlets, and there's large communities that are willing to help. And so you never really have to feel alone. And that's we get on Clubhouse and we're like, oh my God, we have all these friends. But then when it comes to our sexuality, we're like, I have nobody to talk to. And that's just not true.
Well, everyone always has me. Everyone calls me with all of their vagina, Buddha hole, sex stories, partners, and everything else. Like, hey, where can I go and get my asshole bleached? Those are literally the calls that I get. So for anyone who knows me, I am always a resource for anyone to talk about those things with. But yes, I agree. Most people don't feel safe having those conversations with the people around them that are normally dictating their love lives, their relationships, their finances. And again, they all just want to say what you should be doing. But when you really need advice or really need their help, they're nowhere to be found. And that's very valid. Sydney, thank you so much, goddammit, for joining me today on Period Sis. Where can all of my listeners find you?
Okay.
And your cooking show.
Oh, yes. I I have an Instagram live cooking show. I'm putting putting a pin in it. I'm doing my last show. It's coming up right now. But I have like recaps, which you can see on my Instagram.
Amazing.
Yes. Mandy, you've been on it. Oh
yes.
my God, the way you dragged me, girl. Oh my God! But
I said I'm so glad you were cooking mac and cheese during Black History Month, sis.
I was embarrassing everybody. The whole nation of Black society was ready to let me go making mac and cheese. But yes, go on my Instagram, Just Sid BW, JUSTSYDBW. I'm on Twitter, Just Sid NYC, JUSTSYD NYC, and then I have the podcast, Unofficial Expert. You've been on it, and Hobby Hunter. So you can check me out. All over. I'm around. I'm here.
She is around. And guys, I am going to put all of that information in the description of this episode. So if you want to listen to any of those podcasts or follow Sydney on social media, they will be right in the description of this episode. Sid, thank you so much again. And guys, make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to drop a little bit of stats and facts before we get on out of here. Bye, love. Have a good day. Bye.